the hyaloid artery. Hyaloiditis, synonym of hyalitis. Hyaloidotomies, plural of hyaloidotomy. Hyaloidotomy, incision into the hyaloid membrane. Hyaloids, plural of hyaloid. Hyalomer, the clear part of a blood platelet. Hyalomers, plural of hyalomer. Hyalamin, any of a family of immunoregulatory peptides obtained from the salivary glands of hard ticks of the genus Hyaloma. Hyalamins, plural of hyalamin. Hyalamelonite, a type of myelinite formed under a more extreme degree of deformation, resulting in a smoother, glassy, or shiny texture. Hyalamelonites, plural of hyalamelonite. Hyalophagia, alternative form of hyalophagy. Hyalophagy, the act of eating glass. Hyalophane, a monoclinic crystalline mineral, a barium-rich potassium feldspar. Hyalophanes, plural of hyalophane. Hyalopolitic, a textural term used in petrographic classification of volcanic rocks, referring to a volcanic rock groundmass, which is visible only under magnification with a petrographic microscope, that contains a mixture of very fine-grained mineral crystals either mixed with natural volcanic glass or surrounded by thin bands of volcanic glass. Hyaloplasm, a structureless fluid in cells, cytosol. Hyaloplasmatic, relating to or composed of hyaloplasm. Hyaloplasms, plural of hyaloplasm. Hyalosophaceous, of or relating to the Hyalosophaceae genus of fungi. Hyalosrocytis, the coating of an organ with a fibrous hyaline, resulting from inflammation of the serous membrane covering the organ. Hyalocyan, in the context of Gilles Deleuze's film philosophy, particularly in his work Cinema 2, the time image, a specific type of cinematic image that embodies a fusion of the actual and the virtual, often illustrated through motifs like mirrors or crystals. These images disrupt linear temporality, creating a direct presentation of time in film. Hyalocyans, plural of hyalocyan. Hyalosis, any disease that affects the vitreous humor of the eye. Hyalosome, a glassy internucleus structure that resembles a nucleolus. Hyalosomes, plural of hyalosome. Hyalocynate, any aerosolid testame of the family Hyalocinae. Hyalocinates, plural of hyalosphainae. Hyaloclase, a triclinic pinaquidal mineral containing aluminum, barium, beryllium, boron, calcium, chlorine, copper, fluorine, iron, lead, magnesium, manganese, oxygen, potassium, silicon, and sodium. Hyalotoph, a vitric tuff. Hyalotophs, plural of hyalotoph. Hyalotite, a photographic picture copied from the negative on glass. Hyalotypes, plural of hyalotite. Hyaluronan, the polysaccharide hyaluronic acid. Hyaluronosis, a wrinkled skin condition caused by the presence of hyaluronan. Hyaluronans, plural of hyaluronan. Hyaluronate, any salt or ester of hyaluronic acid. Hyaluronates, plural of hyaluronate. Hyaluronic, of or pertaining to hyaluronic acid or its derivatives. Hyaluronic acid, a mucopolysaccharide, a kind of polymer that forms a gel-like substance with an animal connective tissue. Hyaluronidase, any enzyme that catalyzes the hydrolysis of hyaluronic acids. Hyaluronidases, plural of hyaluronidase. Hyaluronan, a glycosaminoglycan derived from hyaluronan. Hyaluronoglucosaminidase, a particular hyaluronidase enzyme. Hyaluronoglucosaminidases, plural of hyaluronoglucosaminidase. Hyaluronoglucuronidase, a particular hyaluronidase enzyme. Hyaluronoglucuronidases, plural of hyaluronoglucuronidase. Hyalurosome, an organelle that releases hyaluronic acid. Hyalurosomes, plural of hyalurosome. Hya, a male given name from Hebrew. Hyamine, the quaternary ammonium compound benzethonium chloride. Hyantho, a census-designated place in Trinity County, California, United States. Hyams, a surname from Yiddish. Hyanses, plural of Hyams. Thought a representation of the supreme being in ancient Indonesian, Balinese, Javanese, Osing Tenggara, Sundanese mythology, native to Java and Bali Islands. Hyeonchul, a method of using Chinese characters to write pure ancient Korean texts, used in Silin Hyanka/Hyanda poetry. It is similar to the Japanese practice of Manyagana. Hanja, a form of ancient Korean poetry written using Hyeonchul. Hyanes, plural of Hyan. Hyannes, a village in Barnstable, Massachusetts. Hur, a surname. Hyats, plural of Hyat. Hyowa, Proteum heptaphyllum, one of many species known as incense tree. Hyowas, plural of Hyawa. Hibernacle, obsolete form of hibernacle. Hibernacles, plural of hibernacle. Hibernate, obsolete spelling of hibernate. Hibernate, simple past and past participle of hibernate. Hibernates, third person singular simple present indicative of hibernate. Hibernating, present participle and gerund of hibernate. Hibernation, obsolete spelling of hibernation. Hibernations, plural of hibernation. Hebla, the name of three ancient cities of Sicily. Hiblan, of, from or relating to the Hyblaean Mountains in southeastern Sicily, Italy. Hyblaean Mountains, a mountain range in southeastern Sicily. Hevlians, plural of Hyblaean. Hevli, any moth in the family Hybleidae. Hevlids, plural of Hyblae. Hyblaean, alternative form of Hyblaean. Hyblaeans, plural of Hyblaean. Hypocarpone. A particular cytotoxic naphthazorin derivative. Hybodont, an extinct shark or similar fish of the order Hybodontiformes. Hybodontid, any shark in the family Hybodontidae. Hybodontids, plural of hybodontid. Hybodonts, plural of hybodont. Hybosaur, any beetle in the family Hybosauridae. Hybosaurids, plural of hybosaurid. Hybotid, any fly of the family Hybotidae. Hybotids, plural of hybotid. Hybrid, offspring resulting from crossbreeding different entities, for example two different species or two purebred parent strains. Hybrid bill, a parliamentary bill that combines the characteristics of a private bill and a public bill. Hybrid bills, plural of hybrid bill. Hybrid car, an automobile powered by both an internal combustion engine and an electric motor. Hybrid cars, plural of hybrid car. Hybrid computer, a computer that features the best characteristics of the analog computer and digital computer. Hybrid computers, plural of hybrid computer. Hybrid cycle track, a designated track for cyclists that runs alongside the footway and the carriageway and is intermediate in height between them. Hybrid diaper, any type of cloth diaper that can be used both with or without diaper inserts, or is partly disposable. Hybrid diapers, plural of hybrid diaper. Hybrid dysgenesis, a phenomenon in which high transboson mobility causes reduced fertility in hybrid progeny. Hybrid electric vehicle, a battery-powered vehicle that also has a traditional internal combustion engine for charging and in many cases also for propulsion. Hybrid electric vehicles, plural of hybrid electric vehicle. Hybrid embryo, an embryo resulting from the sperm of one species fertilizing the egg of another. Hybrid embryos, plural of hybrid embryo. Hybrid image, an optical illusion that combines the low spatial frequencies of one picture with the high spatial frequencies of another and is perceived in one of two ways depending on viewing distance. Hybrid images, plural of hybrid image. Hybrid immunity, the combination of natural immunity and artificially acquired immunity, such as that induced by a vaccine. Hybrid learning, education involving both online or distance learning and in-person instruction. Hybrid meson, a meson composed of quarks, antiquarks, and non-virtual gluons instead of the usual quark-antiquark pair bound by virtual gluons. Hybrid mesons, plural of hybrid meson. Hybrid monkey, the offspring of two different species of monkeys. Hybrid monkeys, plural of hybrid monkey. Hybrid nappies, plural of hybrid nappy. Hybrid nappy, synonym of hybrid diaper. Hybrid offense, a crime in common law jurisdictions that may be prosecuted either summarily or as indictment. Hybrid offenses, plural of hybrid offense. Hybrid open access, a type of subscription journal in which some of the articles are open access, typically requiring the payment of a publication fee. Hybrid orbital, an orbital formed by the combination of multiple atomic orbitals on the same atom. Hybrid orbitals, plural of hybrid orbital. Hybrid perpetual, a cross between a damask rose and a hybrid China rose. Hybrid perpetuals, plural of hybrid perpetual. Hybrid realities, plural of hybrid reality. Hybrid reality, synonym of mixed reality. Hybrid regime, a government with a mix of autocratic and democratic features. Hybrid regimes, plural of hybrid regime. Hybrid rocket, a bipropellant rocket engine rocket motor which uses propellants that are in two different states, typically liquid and solid, which when reacted create exhaust gases suitable for rocket propulsion. Hybrid rockets, plural of hybrid rocket. Hybrid saw, a saw that combines the lighter weight mechanism of a contractor's saw with the enclosed base stand of a cabinet saw. Hybrid saws, plural of hybrid saw. Hybrid sleep, a variant of sleep mode in which current data is retained both in memory allowing fast resumption, as if from hibernation, and on disk to protect from data loss in the event of a power cut. Hybrid speciation, the formation of a new species as the direct result of hybridization between members of two existing species. Hybrid tea, a cross between a hybrid perpetual and a tea rose. Hybrid teaching, synonym of hybrid learning. Hybrid teas, plural of hybrid tea. Hybrid vehicle, a vehicle that uses two or more power sources, most commonly an internal combustion engine, a battery, an electric generator, and an electric motor, so as to reduce local emissions with adequate vehicle performance. Hybrid vehicles, plural of hybrid vehicle. Hybrid vigor, a property of some hybrids that are more likely to outperform either purebred parent in surviving. Hybrid vigor, UK, Australia, and Canada spelling of hybrid vigor. Hybrid war, a war that comprises the use of conventional and non-conventional means by at least one side, which officially denies involvement. Hybrid warfare, a form of conflict which blends conventional warfare, irregular warfare, and activities such as political warfare and information warfare. Hybrid wars, plural of hybrid war. Hybrid wave function, an approximation to a wave function made by taking a linear combination of simpler functions. Hybrid wave functions, plural of hybrid wave function. Hybrid worker, somebody who works from home part of the time and works in the office the rest of the time. Hybrid workers, plural of hybrid worker. Hybrid working, the practice of working from home part of the time and working in the office the rest of the time. Hybrido, being or relating to a hybrid. Hybridase, an enzyme that catalyzes the degradation of RNA hybrids. Hybridases, plural of hybridase. Hybridation, hybridization. Hybridations, plural of hybridation. Hybridicities, plural of hybridicity. Hybridicity, hybridism, hybridity, hybridness, in particular, the degree thereof. Hybriding, the creation of a hybrid of any kind. Hybridizable, alternative form of hybridizable. Hybridization, non-Oxford British English Standard spelling of hybridization. Hybridizations, plural of hybridization. Hybridize, non-Oxford British English Standard spelling of hybridize. Hybridized, simple past and past participle of hybridize. Hybridizer, alternative form of hybridizer. Hybridizers, plural of hybridizer. Hybridizes, third person singular simple present indicative of hybridize. Hybridizing, present participle and gerund of hybridize. Hybridism, the state of being hybrid. Hybridisms, plural of hybridism. Hybridist, a horticulturist who hybridizes plants. Hybridists, plural of hybridis. Hybridities, plural of hybridity. Hybridity, synonym of hybridism. Hybridizability, the suitability or potential for hybridization. Hybridizable, that may be hybridized. Hybridization, the act of hybridizing or the state of being hybridized. Hybridizations, plural of hybridization. Hybridize, to form a mixture of any kind. Hybridize, simple past and past participle of hybridize. Hybridizer, one who hybridizes. Hybridizers, plural of hybridizer. Hybridizes, third person singular simple present indicative of hybridize. Hybridizing, present participle and gerund of hybridize. Hybrid-like, resembling a hybrid. Hybridly. In a hybrid manner. Hybrid. Synonym of hybridism. Hybridogenesis. A form of reproduction resembling parthenogenesis, but hemiclonal rather than completely asexual. Half the genome is passed intact to the next generation, while the other half is discarded. It occurs in some animals that are hybrids between species. Hybridogenetic. Relating to hybridogenesis. Hybridogenetically. By means of hybridogenesis. Hybridogenic. Relating to hybridogenesis. Hybridogenous. Creating a hybrid. Hybridoma. A hybrid cell engineered from a lymphocyte and a tumor cell, used to generate monoclonal antibodies. Hybridomas. Plural of hybridoma. Hybridamata. Plural of hybridoma. Hybridus. Hybrid. Hybrids. Plural of hybrid. Hybris. Alternative form of hubris. Hybristic. Alternative spelling of hybristic. Hybristophile. A person who exhibits hybristophilia. Hybristophiles. Plural of hybristophile. Hybristophilia. A paraphilia involving attraction to somebody who has committed a crime or outrage. Hycandone. A particular schistosomicide, a metabolite of leucanthone. Hycean. Having a water-based ocean that covers the entire planet and an atmosphere rich in hydrogen. A surname. Hitchus. Plural of hitch. Hicklite. A mixed hemihydrate and hemiethanolate of a hydrochloride. Hecklites. Plural of hicklate. Hyksos. Alternative form of Hyksos. Abbreviation of hydrarbi. Abbreviation of hydraulic. Idid. Alternative form of hidage. Hydages. Plural of hydage. Hydantocidin. A phytotoxin present in streptomyces. Hydantoic. Pertaining to or derived from hydantoin. Hydantoic acid. Glycoluric acid. Hydantoin. The heterocycle imidazolidine 2,4-dione derived from urea and glycolic acid, any of its many derivatives. Hydantoinase. Any dihydropyrimidinase that hydrolyzes hydantoin. Hydantoinases. Plural of hydantoinase. Hydantoins. Plural of hydantoin. Hydasps. The river Jhelum on the Indian subcontinent, especially as the location of a battle fought by Alexander the Great against King Porus in 326 BC. Hydathode. A tissue in the leaves of many plants that contains microscopic pores through which water is excreted. Hydathodes. Plural of hydathode. Hydatic. Relating to a hydatid. Hydatid. A cyst due to infection by larvae of some species of the tapeworm Echinococcus. Hydatid of Morgagni. The appendix of testes. Hydatidiform. Resembling a hydatid. Hydatidosis. Plural of hydatidosis. Hydatidosis. An infection by the larvae of the canine tapeworm Echinococcus granulosus. Hydatids. Plural of hydatid. Hydatids of Morgagni. Plural of hydatid of Morgagni. Hydatiduria. The presence of hydatid cysts in the urine. Hydatiform. Resembling a hydatid. Hydatid. Any sea snail in the family Hydatididae. Hydatidids. Plural of hydatid. Hydatism. The sound caused by the presence of fluid in a cavity of the body. Hydatoi. Watery, aqueous. Hydatophyte. An obligate water plant, a plant which lives partly or completely submerged in water, such as Piscia stratio. Hydatophytes. Plural of hydatophyte. Hydatoscopy. Divination. By interpreting rainwater, omens are drawn from the various formations and sizes of rain puddles, and bowls of rainwater are gazed upon until clairvoyant visions appear on the surface of the water, or in the mind's eye. This is considered in some cases to be more important than hydromancy because rain has fallen from the heavens, making it sacred. Hydaturia. Alternative form of hydaturia. Hedum. Past participle of hide. Odd. An English topographic surname from Middle English for someone living on a hide of land. Hyde County. One of 100 counties in North Carolina, United States. County seat, Swan Quarter, named after Edward Hyde. Hyde Park. The name of various parks, neighborhoods, and municipalities. Hyde Park Corner. A major road junction at the southeast corner of Hyde Park, London, England. Hyde Park Corner Tube Station is underneath the junction. OS Grid Ref TQ 2879. Hyde. A female given name. Idle. Hydroelectric. Haydn. A surname. Haydens. Plural of Haydn. Hyder. A surname. Hyderabad. The capital and largest city of Telangana, India. Hyderabadi. Of, from, or relating to the city of Hyderabad, capital of Telangana, India. Hyderabadis. Plural of Hyderabadi. Hydrogen. A mixture of dihydroergodic sine mesylates derived from ergoline. Hydes. Plural of high. Hydestil. A hamlet in Busbridge Parish and Hambledon Parish, Waverley Borough, Surrey, England. OS Grid Ref SU 9640. Hydesville. A census-designated place in Humboldt County, California, United States. Hiding. Present participle and gerund of high. Hydnaceous. Of or relating to the Hydnaceae. Hydnalum. Any of the genus Hydnalum of tooth fungi. Hydnocarpic acid. The unsaturated fatty acid 11,2-cyclopentane-1,1-undecanoic acid found in the oil of Hydnocarpus trees. Hynoi. One of a group of fungi that have basidiocarps producing spores on tooth or spine-like projections. Hydnoids. Plural of hydnoi. Hydai. A surname. Hydox. Plural of hydoc. Hyder. Alternative form of hydra used before a vowel. Hydra. A mythological serpent with many heads, slain by Hercules as one of his 12 labors. Hydrocarbazine. An antihypertensive agent. Hydrachnid. An aquatic mite of the genus Hydrachna or of its relatives in Hydrachnidae or similar groups. Hydrachnids. Plural of hydrachnid. Hydracid. An acid that does not contain any oxygen as opposed to an oxyacid. They are all binary compounds of hydrogen and a halogen or pseudohalogen. Hydracids. Plural of hydracid. Hydrocrylate. Any salt or ester of hydrocryllic acid. Hydrocrylates. Plural of hydrocrylate. Hydrocryllic acid. an isomeric variety of lactic acid that breaks down into acrylic acid and water. Hydractinium, a marine hydroid of the genus Hydractinia or a closely related genus. Hydractinians, plural of Hydractinian. Hydactide, any hydrozoan of the family Hydractidiidae. Hydactinids, plural of Hydractiniae. Hydri, plural of hydra. Hydremia, thinness of the blood. Hydremias, plural of hydremia. Hydremic, alternative form of hydremic. Hydrenid, any member of the family Hydrenidae of minute moss beetles. Hydrenids, plural of hydrenid. Hydroairplane, alternative form of hydroairplane. Hydroplanes, plural of hydroplane. Hydroform, alternative form of hydroform. Hydragogy, alternative form of hydragogue. Hydragogues, plural of hydragogue. Hydragogue, causing a discharge of water, expelling serum effused into any part of the body, as in dropsy. Hydragogues, plural of hydragogue. Hydrail, any rail technology where vehicles use onboard hydrogen as a source of energy to power the motors. Hydralazine, a direct-acting smooth muscle relaxant used to treat hypertension by acting as a vasodilator primarily in arteries and arterioles. Hydralazines, plural of hydralazine. Hydra-like, resembling a hydra. Hydra, a hydraulic ram. Hydramide, one of a group of crystalline bodies produced by the action of ammonia on certain aldehydes. Hygramides, plural of hydramide. Hydramine, any organic compound having both a hydroxy and an aminofunctional group, a hydroxyamine. Hydramines, plural of hydramine. Hydramic, hydramuetic. Hydramine, palehydramyose. Hydramyose, palehydramyose. Hydramiate, of a relating to or characterized by hydramyose palehydramyose. Hydrams, plural of hydram. Hydranencephalic, alternative form of hydranencephalic. Hydranencephales, plural of hydranencephalic. Hydranencephaly, a condition where the brain's cerebral hemispheres are absent, replaced by sacs filled with cerebrospinal fluid. Hydrangea, any of several shrubs of the genus Hydrangea having large clusters of white, pink, or blue flowers. Hydrangeaceous, of or relating to the Hydrangeaceae. Hydrangeas, plural of hydrangea. Hydrangenol, a dihydroisochalmarin found in Hydrangea macrophylla. Hydrant, an outlet from a liquid/fluid main often consisting of an upright pipe with a valve attached from which fluid, for example water or fuel, can be tapped. Hydran, an individual polyp of a hydroid colony. Hydrants, plural of hydran. Hydrants, plural of hydrant. Hydraquant, a type of aquant containing clay. Hydraquants, plural of hydraquant. Hydrarchies, plural of hydrarchy. Hydrarchy, a pseudo-governmental system of laws and justice between pirates at sea. Hydrarch, abbreviation of hydrargyrum. Hydrargyphon, a particular fungicide. Hydrargillite, alternative form of hydrargillite. Hydrargite, Obsolete form of hydrargyrum. Hydrargyri. Obsolete form of hydrargyrum. Hydrargochloride. A compound of the bichloride of mercury with another chloride. Hydrargochlorides. Plural of hydrargochloride. Hydrargylites. Yebsize. Hydrargyrol. Relating to the chemical element mercury or hydrargyrum. Hydrargyre. Obsolete form of hydrargyrum. Hydrargyria. Mercury poisoning. Hydrargyriferous. Bearing or producing mercury. Hydrargyrism. Hydrargyria. Mercurialism or mercury poisoning. Hydrargyrin. Obsolete form of hydrargyrum. Hydrargyrum. Mercury chemical element. Hydarthroses. Plural of hydarthrosis. Hydarthrosis. An effusion of watery liquid into the cavity of a joint, usually the knee. Hydrase. Plural of hydra. Hydrase. An enzyme that catalyzes the addition of water. Hydraseeding. Alternative form of hydraseeding. Hydrases. Plural of hydrase. Hydrastin. Alternative form of hydrastine. Hydrastine. A natural alkaloid present in golden seal. Hydrastinine. A semisynthetic alkaloid resulting from the hydrolysis of hydrastine. Hydrastinines. Plural of hydrastinine. Hydratable. Capable of being hydrated. Hydratase. Any enzyme that catalyzes the addition or removal of the elements of water, a hydrase. Hydratases. Plural of hydratase. Hydrate. A solid compound containing or linked to water molecules. Hydrate or dehydrate. Dehydration can eventually lead to death. Used to encourage children to drink adequate water when camping or doing other outdoor activities. Hydrated. Simple past and past participle of hydrate. Hydrates. Plural of hydrate. Hydrating. Present participle and gerund of hydrate. Hydration. The incorporation of water molecules into a complex with those of another compound. Hydrational. Relating to hydration. Hydrationally. Concerning or in terms of hydration. Hydrations. Plural of hydration. Hydrative. Relating to hydration. Hydrator. Something that hydrates. Hydrators. Plural of hydrator. Hydrocone. A form of draft tube used with a hydroturbine, having a bell mouth shape and a flat plate deflector near the mouth. Hydrocones. Plural of hydrocone. Hydrodger. A horizontal boring machine used to install pipelines, etc. under roadways. Hydrodgers. Plural of hydrodger. Hydraulic. Pertaining to water. Hydraulic belt. An arrangement for lifting water consisting of an endless belt fitted with buckets which empty as they turn over an upper wheel. Hydraulic belts. Plural of hydraulic belt. Hydraulic cement. A cement or mortar made of hydraulic lime which will harden underwater. Hydraulic cements. Plural of hydraulic cement. Hydraulic conductivities. Plural of hydraulic conductivity. Hydraulic conductivity. A material property, for example, for rocks or soil that describes the rate which water can flow through pore spaces or fractures. See Unit M/S. Symbol K. Hydraulic engineering, a subdiscipline of civil engineering concerned with the flow and conveyance of fluids, principally water and sewage. Hydraulic fluid, a synthetic or mineral-based fluid that transfers power in hydraulic equipment and machinery. Hydraulic fluids, plural of hydraulic fluid. Hydraulic fracturing, a technique in which a mixture of water and sand is forced down an oil well or similar in order to create fractures in the oil-bearing rock and thus release more oil. Hydraulic horsepower, the amount of pressure multiplied by the volumetric flow rate. Hydraulic horsepowers, plural of hydraulic horsepower. Hydraulic Keynesianism, a type of Keynesianism that assumes homogeneous macroeconomic aggregates and uses that assumption in relation to the Phillips curve to exploit a trade-off between inflation and unemployment, typically prioritizing low unemployment at the expense of higher inflation. Hydraulic lime, quicklime obtained from hydraulic limestone and used for cementing underwater, etc. Hydraulic limes, plural of hydraulic lime. Hydraulic limestone, a limestone which contains some clay and which yields a quicklime that will set or form a firm, strong mass underwater. Hydraulic limestones, plural of hydraulic limestone. Hydraulic mining, a form of mining that uses pressurized water jets to dislodge rock or move sediment. Hydraulic oil, synonym of hydraulic fluid. Hydraulic oils, plural of hydraulic oil. Hydraulic organ, synonym of water organ. Hydraulic organs, plural of hydraulic organ. Hydraulic press, a machine that generates compression force using hydraulic cylinders. Hydraulic presses, plural of hydraulic press. Hydraulic radii, plural of hydraulic radius. Hydraulic radius. For a porous material, the ratio of porosity, ratio of volume of interstitial space filled with fluid to volume of material to specific surface area, ratio of surface area in contact with fluid to volume of material. For a pipe or channel, the ratio of cross-sectional area to wetted perimeter. Hydraulic ram, used other than figuratively or idiomatically, see hydraulic ram. Hydraulic rams, plural of hydraulic ram. Hydraulic retention time, a measure of the average length of time that a soluble compound remains in a constructed reactor. Hydraulic retention times, plural of hydraulic retention time. Hydraulical, archaic form of hydraulic. Hydraulically, using hydraulics. Hydraulician, one who studies hydraulics. Hydraulicians, plural of hydraulician. Hydraulicities, plural of hydraulicity. Hydraulicity, the condition of being hydraulic. Hydraulic, obsolete form of hydraulic. Hydraulict, simple past and past participle of hydraulic. Hydraulicking, hydraulic mining using pressurized water jets to dislodge rock or move sediment. Hydraulics, obsolete form of hydraulics. Hydraulicon, an ancient musical instrument, the water organ. Hydraulicons, plural of hydraulicon. Hydraulics, the engineering science that deals with practical applications where liquid is in motion and transmits energy. Hydraulis, synonym of water organ. Hydraulis, one who works in the field of hydraulics. Hydrolists, plural of hydrolist. Hygrolophone. Any of several musical instruments that employ the movement of water rather than air. Hygrolophones, plural of hydrolophone. Hydraulis, synonym of water organ. Hydrazide, any compound derived from an oxocid by replacing the hydroxide group with NHNH2 or derived forms NRNR2. Hydrazide hydrazone, a hydrazidine. Hydrazide hydrazones, plural of hydrazide hydrazone. Hydrazide imide, an imivrazone. Hydrazide imides, plural of hydrazide imide. Hydrazides, plural of hydrazide. Hydrazidine, any compound derived from a carboxylic acid by replacing the carbonyl group with equals an NH2 and the hydroxyl group with NHNH2 or substituted forms of both. Hydrazidines, plural of hydrazidine. Hydrazido, a double bonded ligand equals an NH2 derived from hydrazine. Hydrazination, to eat a reaction with hydrazine, especially any addition reaction in which the element of hydrazine added occurs a double bond to form a diamine. Hydrazinations, plural of hydrazination. Hydrazine, a corrosive, fuming liquid NH2NH2 used as a rocket fuel. Hydrazine carboxylic acid, the carboxylic acid derived from hydrazine NH2NH2. Hydrazines, plural of hydrazine. Hydrazinium, the univalent cation N2H formed by protonation of hydrazine. Hydraziniums, plural of hydrazinium. Hydrazino, the univalent radical formed from hydrazine by loss of a hydrogen atom. Hydrazinolysis, plural of hydrazinolysis. Hydrazinolysis, cleavage similar to hydrolysis using a solution of hydrazine. Hydrazinophthalizine, any of a class of drugs including hydralazine, dihydrolazine, kegolazine, and andralazine. Hydrazinophthalizines, plural of hydrazinophthalizine. Hydrazinyl, the radical NH2NH derived from hydrazine. Hydrazinolidine, an isodiazine. Hydrazinolidines, plural of hydrazinolidine. Hydrazinyls, plural of hydrazinyl. Hydrazo, the divalent radical and functional group NHNH derived from hydrazine and N-substituted derivatives. Hydrazote, AI. Hydrazotes, plural of hydrazote. Hydrazobenzene, the hydrogenated form of azobenzene 1,2-diphenylhydrazine. Hydrazoic, of or pertaining to hydrazoic acid. Hydrazoic acid, the poisonous and explosive compound HN3. Hydrazone, any compound of general formula R2C equals and NR2, formally derived from an aldehyde or ketone by replacing the carbonyl group with equals an NH2 or derivative. Hydrazones, plural of hydrazone. Hydrazonic, describing any of several classes of oxyacids in which a double bonded oxygen atom is replaced by A equals NNR2 group. Hydrazonic acid, any compound formally derived from an oxocid by replacing the equals O with equals NNR2. Hydrazinoic, of or pertaining to hydrazinoic acids or their derivatives. Hydrazinoic acid, any of a class of organic acids derived from hydrazones of general formula R2NN equals CROH. Hydrazonyl, any univalent radical of general formula R2NN equals CRO, derived from a hydrazinoic acid. Hydrazonyl, any univalent radical derived from a hydrazone. Hydrazos, plural of hydrazo. Hydrazel. The radical H2NNH. Hydremia, thinness of the blood. Hydremias, plural of hydremia. Hydremic, relating to or exhibiting hydremia. Hydrancephalosal, a protrusion of the brain fissure enclosing part of a ventricle. Hydrancephalosals, plural of hydrancephalosal. Hydrancephaloi, alternative form of hydrosphaloi. Hydria, a three-handled clay or metal vessel used in Greek culture to hold and pour water. Hydra, a water nymph. Hydriades, plural of hydria. Hydra, plural of hydria. Hydra, plural of hydria. Hydrian, of or relating to the monster Hydra in Greek legend. Hydrias, plural of hydria. Hydraze, hydrotherapeutic. Hydraes, hydrotherapist. Hydraists, plural of hydriatis. Hydra, hydrotherapy. Hydra, characterized by or requiring moisture. Hydric acid, one of several systematic acid names for water, H2O. Hydricity, the combined use of hydrogen and electricity as a power source. Hydra, a surname from Dutch. Hydrix, plural of hydric. Hydra, any of the meteors in a meteor shower that appears to come from the constellation Hydra. Hydri, a compound of hydrogen with a more electropositive element. Hydrides, plural of hydri. Hydritic, of, pertaining to, or characteristic of a hydride. Hydriding, a process of reducing an ore to a metal by treatment with hydrogen at high temperature. Hydrido, describing any complex in which a hydride ligand is bonded to a central metal atom. Hydrido complex, a complex hydride, such as sodium borohydride, containing a hydride ligand bonded to a central atom. Hydrido complexes, plural of hydrido complex. Hydridohelium, synonym of helium hydride. Hydridoma, misspelling of hybridoma. Hydrids, plural of hydrid. Hydriform, having the form or structure of a hydra. Hydrilla, an aquatic plant, Hydrilla verticillata. Hydrellus, plural of hydrilla. Hydranvantin, a chemical intermediate formed during the ninhydrin test for amines. Hydrino, a supposed form of hydrogen having a lower energy than that of the normal ground state, postulated to explain the outcome of early cold fusion experiments. Hydrinos, plural of hydrino. Hydadate. Hydadates, plural of hydriadate. Hydriatic, of or pertaining to hydriatic acid or its derivatives. Hydriatic acid, a solution of hydrogen iodide, high in water. It is a strong acid and reducing agent. Hydriatic, a compound of hydriatic acid with a base. Hydrides, plural of hydriadi. Hydrian, proton positive hydrogen ion. Hydrians, plural of hydrian. Hydra, from or pertaining to the Greek island of Hydra. Hydriskai, plural of hydriskos. Hyrist, a form of ancient Greek pottery, a miniature version of the hydria. Hyrisks, plural of hydrisk. Hydrisks, Hydriscose. Synonym of hydrisk. Hydrium. Hydrogen. Hydro. Clipping of hydroelectric. Hydrocomplex. A hydridocomplex. Hydrocomplexes. Plural of hydrocomplex. Hydrohotel. A hotel offering hydrotherapy. Hydrohotels. Plural of hydrohotel. Hydromarker. A hardened wax pencil similar to a china pencil, but water-soluble so as to be erasable with a damp cloth. Hydropole. A utility pole. Hydropoles. Plural of hydropole. Hydro. Water. Hydroairplane. Synonym of seaplane. Hydroecology. Alternative spelling of hydroecology. Hydroelectric. Alternative form of hydroelectric. Hydrogeothermal. That employs water heated geothermally. Hydroabrasion. Water abrasion. Hydroabrasive. Relating to hydroabrasion. Hydroabsorbent. That absorbs water. Hydroaccumulation. The temporary storage of heat energy in a reservoir of hot water. Hydrocaustic. Of or pertaining to hydrocaustics. Hydrocaustics. Any of various sciences and technologies dealing with sound transmitted through water. Hydrosylation. Any addition reaction in which an alkyl group and a hydrogen atom from an aldehyde are added across a double bond. Hydrosylations. Plural of hydrosylation. Hydroaerodrome. A seaplane, float plane, or flying boat base. Hydroaerodromes. Plural of hydroaerodrome. Hydroaeroplane. A float plane, an airplane specialized for operating on water, having pontoon floats instead of skids or wheels. Hydroaeroplanes. Plural of hydroaeroplane. Hydrofinity. Affinity to water, hydrophilicity. Hydroagricultural. Relating to hydroagriculture. Hydroagriculture. Hydroponic agriculture. Hydroairplane. Alternative form of hydroaeroplane. Hydroairplanes. Plural of hydroairplane. Hydroalcoholic. Describing a solution in which the solvent is a mixture of water and alcohol. Hydrocanylation. Any addition reaction in which a hydrogen atom and an alkynyl group are attached across a double bond or triple bond. Hydrocanellations. Plural of hydrocanellation. Hydrocoxylation. The addition reaction of an alcohol to a double bond in which a hydrogen atom is attached to one side and an alkoxy group to the other. Hydrocoxylations. Plural of hydrocoxylation. Hydrochylation. A combination of hydrogenation and alkylation. Hydrochalations. Plural of hydrochylation. Hydrolumination. Any addition reaction in which atoms of hydrogen and aluminium are added across a double bond or triple bond. Hydroluminations. Plural of hydrolumination. Hydromidation. The addition reaction of the NH group of amide across a double bond. Hydromidations. Plural of hydromidation. Hydromination. The addition reaction of an amine across a double bond. Hydrominations. Plural of hydromination. Hydronitrat I. A hydroxyl-bearing variety of the mineral andradite. Hydronencephalic. Relating to or suffering from hydranencephaly. Hydroarchaeology. The study of artifacts or remains found underwater. Hydroarchaeology, rare spelling of hydroarchaeology. Hydroaromatic, having a structure formerly derived from an aromatic one by the addition of hydrogen. Hydroarthrosis, plural of hydroarthrosis. Hydroarthrosis, alternative form of hydroarthrosis. Hydrorylation, any addition reaction in which a hydrogen atom and an aryl group are attached across a double bond or triple bond. Hydrorylations, plural of hydrorylation. Hydroset, a hydrological or hydroelectric asset. Hydrosets, plural of hydroset. Hydrostrapholite, a triclinic pinaquidal dark brown mineral containing aluminum, calcium, fluorine, hydrogen, iron, manganese, niobium, oxygen, potassium, silicon, and titanium. Hydroeutagamous, relating to hydroeutagamy. Hydroeutagamy, underwater self-pollination. Hydroaviation, the part of aviation dealing with seaplanes and floatplanes. Hydroxaphyllurene, a hydroheterophluorene in which one or more carbon atoms have been replaced by NH groups. Hydroxidation, any addition reaction in which a hydrogen atom and an azide group are attached across a double bond or triple bond. Hydrobarometer, an early form of depth gauge that measured water pressure as well as temperature. Hydrobarometers, plural of hydrobarometer. Hydrobasaluminite, a monoclinic white mineral containing aluminum, hydrogen, oxygen, and sulfur. Hydrobath, a dog bath, often mobile on a trailer or in a vehicle. Hydrobaths, plural of hydrobath. Hydrobatid, any bird in the family Hydrobatidae, is storm petrel. Hydrobatids, plural of hydrobatid. Hydrobid, any sea snail in the family Hydrobidae. Hydrobies, plural of hydrobia. Hydrobilirubin, a body formed from bilirubin identical with urobilin. Hydrobilabol, a particular resorcinolic lipid. Hydrobiological, of or pertaining to hydrobiology. Hydrobiologists, hydrobiologists is biology is hydrobiology. Hydrobiologists, plural of hydrobiologists. Hydrobiology, the study of the biology of the organisms that inhabit eddies of water. Hydrobiont, any organism that lives in water. Hydrobionts, plural of hydrobiont. Hydrobiaceae, any Kedis fly in the family Hydrobiacidae. Hydrobiacids, plural of Hydrobiaceae. Hydrobiidae, a monoclinic prismatic mineral containing aluminum, calcium, fluorine, hydrogen, iron, magnesium, oxygen, potassium, and silicon. Hydrobiadates, plural of hydrobiadite. Hydrobias, adapted to living or dwelling in water or in the vicinity of water, dependent upon a water environment for survival, aquatic. Hydrobiplane, a hydroaeroplane having two supporting planes. Hydrobiplanes, plural of hydrobiplane. Hydroblading, a figure skating move in which a skater glides on a deep edge with the body stretched in a very low position, almost horizontal to the ice. Hydrobomb, a kind of underwater rocket or torpedo. Hydrobombs, plural of hydrobomb. Hydroboricide, a hydrated borate mineral with the chemical formula CmGb600OH3H2O. Hydroboricytes, plural of hydroboricide. Hydroborang, any boron that has more hydrogen atoms than another that has the same number of boron atoms. Hydroboranes, plural of hydroborane. Hydroborate, any of several anions containing hydrogen bound to boron, especially the simplest one BH. Any salt or complex containing such an anion. Hydroborated, reacted or treated with a hydroborate. Hydroborates, plural of hydroborate. Hydroboration, the production or organoboranes by the addition of diborane to unsaturated organic compounds. Hydroborations, plural of hydroboration. Hydrobot, an autonomous underwater vehicle for use in space exploration. Hydrobots, plural of hydrobot. Hydrobromate. Hydrobromide. Hydrobromates, plural of hydrobromate. Hydrobromic, composed of hydrogen and bromine. Hydrobromic acid, a solution of hydrogen bromide, HBr, in water. It is a strong acid used in the production of bromine compounds. Hydrobromide, a compound of hydrobromic acid with an organic base distinguished from a bromide, in which only the bromine unites with the base. Hydrobromides, plural of hydrobromide. Hydrobromination, addition of hydrogen bromide to a compound. Hydrobromofluorocarbon, any halocarbon which contains hydrogen, bromine, and fluorine. They are used as refrigerants and have ODP ozone depleting potential. Hydrobromofluorocarbons, plural of hydrobromofluorocarbon. Hydrocalcite, monohydrocalcite. Hydrocalcites, plural of hydrocalcites. Hydrocalumite, a monoclinic sphenoidal mineral containing aluminum, calcium, chlorine, hydrogen, and oxygen. Hydrocar, a hydrogen-powered automobile. Hydrocarboxylation, a chemical reaction that involves the addition of a hydrocarbon group and an alkoxy group to a molecule. Hydrocarbide, hydrocarbon. Hydrocarbides, plural of hydrocarbide. Hydrocarbon, a compound consisting only of carbon and hydrogen atoms. Hydrocarbonaceous, of the nature of or containing hydrocarbons. Hydrocarbonate, hydrocarbon. Hydrocarbonated, treated with or mixed with a hydrocarbon. Hydrocarbonates, plural of hydrocarbonate. Hydrocarbonic, related to or derived from a hydrocarbon. Hydrocarbonization, carbonization in the presence of water. Hydrocarbonize, subjected to hydrocarbonization. Hydrocarbonic, able to fragment hydrocarbons. Hydrocarbonous, being or relating to a hydrocarbon. Hydrocarbons, plural of hydrocarbon. Hydrocarbonyl, a mixed hydride and carbonyl of a metal. Hydrocarbonylation, the addition of carbon monoxide and hydrogen to unsaturated hydrocarbons. Hydrocarbonyls, plural of hydrocarbonyl. Hydrocarbosterol, a nitrogenous hydrocarbon, C9H9NO, obtained from certain derivatives of cinnamic acid and closely related to quinoline and carbosterol. Hydrocarboxylation, the addition reaction of carbon monoxide and either water or an alcohol to the double bond of an olefin to produce a carboxylic acid or ester respectively. Hydrocarboxylations, plural of hydrocarboxylation. Hydrocarboxylic, describing a carboxylic acid that has at least one hydroxyl group. Hydrocarburet, carbureted hydrogen. Hydrocarburates, plural of Hydrocarburet. Hydrocarburetted. Formed from hydrogen and carbon. Hydrocarbyl. Any univalent radical derived from a hydrocarbon, such as methyl or phenyl. Hydrocarbylene. Any divalent radical formed by removing two hydrogen atoms from a hydrocarbon. Hydrocarbylines. Plural of hydrocarbylene. Hydrocarbylidene. Any divalent radical formed by removing two hydrogen atoms from the same carbon atom of a hydrocarbon and the free valencies of which form a double bond R2C equals. Hydrocarbylidines. Plural of hydrocarbylidene. Hydrocarbyletine. Any divalent radical formed by removing three hydrogen atoms from the same carbon atom of a hydrocarbon and the free valencies of which form a triple bond. Hydrocarbyletines. Plural of hydrocarbyletine. Hydrocarbyls. Plural of hydrocarbyl. Hydrocars. Plural of hydrocar. Hydrocasts. A form of scientific water measurement in which several connected bottles are lowered into the water to collect samples. Hydrocasts. Plural of hydrocasts. Hydrocolly. Plural of hydrocollis. Hydrocollis. The hollow stem of a hydrozoan. Hydrocele. An abnormal buildup of fluids at a site in the body, especially in the membranes around a testicle. Hydroselectomies. Plural of hydroselectomy. Hydroselectomy. A surgery to remove a hydrocele. Hydroceles. Plural of hydrocele. Hydrocellulose. A hydrated form of cellulose used in the manufacture of paper, etc. Hydrocelluloses. Plural of hydrocellulose. Hydrosnid. Any snail in the family Hydrosnidae. Hydrosnids. Plural of hydrosnid. Hydrosphaly. Plural of hydrosphalus. Hydrospalic. Hydrosphalus. Hydrosphalix. Plural of hydrosphalic. Hydrosphallies. Plural of hydrosphaly. Hydrosphalosal. Alternative form of hydrocephalosal. Hydrosphalosals. Plural of hydrosphalosal. Hydrosphalide. Of, relating to, or resembling hydrosphalus. Hydrosphalus. Having a swollen head. Hydrocephalus. A usually congenital condition in which an abnormal accumulation of fluid in the cerebral ventricles causes enlargement of the skull and compression of the brain, destroying much of the neural tissue. Hydrophalluses. Plural of hydrosphalus. Hydrosphaly. Hydrosphalus. Hydrosrami. A hydrogenated lecithin used in cosmetics. Hydroschrasite. A form of lead carbonate, a trigonal to trigonal pyramidal mineral containing carbon, hydrogen, lead, and oxygen. Hydrochar. A solid that is the result of hydrothermal carbonization of biomass. Hydrocheritaceous. Of or relating to the Hydrocheritaceae. Hydrochars. Plural of hydrochar. Hydrochemical. Of or pertaining to hydrochemistry. Hydrochemically. In a hydrochemical manner. Hydrochemistry. That part of hydrology that deals with the chemical characteristics of bodies of water. Hydrochinon. Alternative form of hydroquinone. Hydroquinonum. Hydroquinone. Hydrochlorate. Hydrochloride. Hydrochlorates. Plural of hydrochlorate. Hydrochloroborite. A monoclinic prismatic colorless mineral containing boron, calcium, chlorine, hydrogen, and oxygen. Hydrochloric. of or relating to hydrochloric acid. Hydrochloric acid, a strong acid made by dissolving the gas hydrogen chloride in water. It reacts with alkalized bases and many metals to form chlorides. It has many industrial applications. Hydrochloric acids, plural of hydrochloric acid. Hydrochloride, archaic form of hydrochloride. Hydrochloride, a compound of hydrochloric acid with an organic base such as an amine. Hydrochloride of strychnine, strychnine hydrochloride. Hydrochlorides, plural of hydrochloride. Hydrochlorids, plural of hydrochloride. Hydrochlorination, any addition, reaction in which the elements of hydrogen chloride are added. Hydrochlorids, plural of hydrochloride. Hydrochlorination, any addition, reaction in which the elements of hydrogen chloride are added. Hydrochlorinations, plural of hydrochlorination. Hydrochlorofluorocarbon, a chlorofluorocarbon with the addition of hydrogen, making it less stable and more liable to break down before reaching the ozone layer. Hydrochlorofluorocarbons, plural of hydrochlorofluorocarbon. Hydrochloroquine, misspelling of hydroxychloroquine. Hydrochlorothiazide, a diuretic drug, 6-fluoro-3-4-dihydro-2-H-1,2,4-benzothiazine, 7-sulfonamide 1,1-dioxide, that inhibits the kidney's ability to retain water and lowers blood pressure. Hydrochlorothiazides, plural of hydrochlorothiazide. Hydrochlorate, hydrochloride. Hydrochoerid, any rodent of the family Hydrochoeridae now reclassified as the subfamily Hydrochoeridae. Hydrochoerids, plural of hydrochoerid. Hydrochoerine, any rodent of the subfamily Hydrochoeridae. Hydrochoerines, plural of hydrochoerine. Hydrochoretic, that increases the volume of secretion of bile from the liver without increasing the amount of solid matter secreted. Hydrochoretics, plural of hydrochoretic. Hydrochore, a plant whose spores, seeds, or fruits are dispersed by water. Hydrochores, plural of hydrochore. Hydrochoric, having seeds that are dispersed by water. Hydrochorous, spread or having seeds that are dispersed by water. Hydrochory, the dispersal of seeds, spores, or fruit by water. Hydrochromic, whose color or translucency changes when wet. Hydrochronic, a very potent type of hydroponically grown marijuana. Hydrocinchini, synonym of synchetine. Hydrocinamic, of or pertaining to hydrocinamic acid or its derivatives. Hydrocinamic acid, the aromatic carboxylic acid 3-phenylpropanoic acid present in bilberries. Hydrocladia, plural of hydrocladium. Hydrocladial, of or relating to a hydrocladium. Hydrocladium, any of the secondary branches of a hydrocolous that bear hydrotheci. Hydroclimate, the climate of an aquatic habitat. Hydroclimates, plural of hydroclimate. Hydroclimatic, describing the effects of large bodies of water upon the climate. Hydroclimatically, in a hydroclimatic manner. Hydroclimatological, relating to hydroclimate. Hydroclimatologically, in terms of hydroclimate. Hydroclimatologist, one who studies hydroclimatology. Hydroclimatologists, plural of hydroclimatologists. Hydroclimatology, the study of hydroclimate. Hydroclone, an industrial device that uses a conical vortex and centrifugal force to separate a solid-liquid mixture. Hydroclones, plural of hydroclone. Hydrochloroshielding, Misspelling of hydrochlorothiazide. Hydrocluster, a theoretical cluster of suspension particles that cause shear thickening. Hydroclusters, plural of hydrocluster. Hydrocode, any of several computer programs that model the behavior of fluid flow systems by breaking down the system into a three-dimensional matrix of cells and calculating the forces, etc. affecting each one. Hydrocodes, plural of hydrocode. Hydrocodone, a habit-forming compound that is derived from codeine and is administered in the form of its bitartrate CH-NO-C4H6O6, usually in combination with other drugs as acetaminophen as an analgesic or antitussive. Hydrocodones, plural of hydrocodone. Hydrocol, alternative form of hydrosol. Hydrocol, alternative spelling of hydrosol. Hydrocolectomies, plural of hydrocolectomy. Hydrocolectomy, alternative form of hydrocolectomy. Hydrocols, plural of hydrocol. Hydrocols, plural of hydrocol. Hydrocolloid, any material that forms a colloid, especially a gel when mixed with water. Hydrocolloidal, of or relating to a hydrocolloid. Hydrocolloids, plural of hydrocolloid. Hydrocolpose, a condition characterized by a distended, fluid-filled vaginal cavity. Hydrocompaction, soil subsidence due to human activities that modify soil moisture. Hydroconversion, a form of hydrocracking in which hydrogenation and cracking occur simultaneously. Hydroconversions, plural of hydroconversion. Hydrocool, to cool by means of a hydrocooler. Hydrocooled, simple past and past participle of hydrocool. Hydrocooler, any of various devices for cooling produced by means of chilled water. Hydrocoolers, plural of hydrocooler. Hydrocooling, present participle and gerund of hydrocool. Hydrocools, third person singular simple present indicative of hydrocool. Hydrocopter, an amphibious catamaran propelled by an aircraft engine. Hydrocopters, plural of hydrocopter. Hydrocoral, any hydrozoan of the order Anthothecata that has a calcareous skeleton and so resembles a coral. Hydrocorals, plural of hydrocoral. Hydrocortisone, a synthetic glucocorticoid with anti-inflammatory and immunosuppressive properties. Hydrocortisol, synonym of hydrocortisone. Hydrocortisone, name used for cortisol, a glucocorticoid steroid hormone when used as a medication used to treat, for example, inflammation resulting from rheumatism and eczema. Hydrocortisones, plural of hydrocortisone. Hydrocoupling, synonym of hydrodimerization. Hydrocouplings, plural of hydrocoupling. Hydrocrack, to convert hydrocarbons by hydrocracking. Hydrocrack, simple past and past participle of hydrocrack. Hydrocracker, a chemical engineering plant in which hydrocracking takes place. Hydrocrackers, plural of hydrocracker. Hydrocracking, the production of hydrogen petroleum fuel and kerosene by hydrogenating large or complex hydrocarbons and then cracking them. Hydrocrackings, plural of hydrocracking. Hydrocracks, third person singular simple present indicative of hydrocrack. Hydrocultura, relating to hydroculture. Hydroculture, a type of hydroponics in which plants are grown in a medium that allows the distribution of water and nutrients through capillary action. Hydrocorporation, any hydrometallation reaction involving a copper hydride. Hydrocution, the situation where blood vessels dilated by the heat contract suddenly when cold water is applied to the skin, leading to cardiac arrest. Hydroxanate, hydroxanide, hydroxanates, plural of hydrocyanate. Hydrogenation, any reaction in which the elements of hydrogen cyanide are added to a molecule, especially across a double bond. Hydrogenations, plural of hydrogenation. Hydroxanic, of or pertaining to hydroxyanic acid or its compounds. Hydroxanic acid, a solution of hydrogen cyanide, HCN, in water, a weak poisonous acid used as a fumigant. Hydrocyanic acids, plural of hydrocyanic acid. Hydrocyanium, hydrocyanic acid, prussic acid, a colorless liquid obtained from amygdalin present in bitter almonds, peach stones, plums, and laurel leaves. Hydroxanide, a compound of hydrocyanic acid with a base, distinguished from cyanide, in which only the cyanogen so combines. Hydroxanides, plural of hydroxyanide. Hydroxanine, any of a group of dyes that can detect reactive oxygen species reacting to form cyanine. Hydroxanines, plural of hydroxyanine. Hydroxanide, anhydrous copper sulfate. Hydrocycle, a small watercraft powered by pedals. Hydrocycles, plural of hydrocycle. Hygrocyclone, a cyclone separator used to remove particles from a liquid. Hydrocyclones, plural of hydrocyclone. Hydrocytosis, overhydrated hereditary stomatocytosis. Hydrodactylous harmonica, the glass harmonica. Hydroalkylation, the catalytic removal of alkyl groups from an aromatic compound in the presence of hydrogen. Hydroalkylations, plural of hydroalkylation. Hydrochlorination, the reductive dechlorination of organochlorine compounds by the replacement of chlorine atoms by hydrogen. Hydrocyclization, any decyclization reaction involving the addition of hydrogen. Hydrocyclizations, plural of hydrocyclization. Hydrodegradation, chemical degradation by water. Hydrotyl halide, an orthorhombic pyramidal mineral containing aluminum, calcium, hydrogen, oxygen, potassium, and silicon. Hydrolineate, to perform hydrolineation. Hydrolineated, simple past and past participle of hydrolineate. Hydrolineation, the separation of one or more of the outer layers of the lens of the eye during cataract surgery by forceful irrigation. Hydrolineations, plural of hydrolineation. Hydrometallation, the reaction of a metal hydride with an olefin to form an organometallic compound. Hydrometallations, plural of hydrometallation. Hydrometallization, the removal of metal from hydrocarbons during oil refining by any of several hydrotreating methods. Hydromolition, usage of high-pressure water to remove concrete. Hydronitrification, a chemical engineering process in which hydrotreating is used to reduce the nitrogen content of hydrocarbons during oil refining. Hydronitrogenation, a chemical engineering process in which hydrotreating is used to reduce the nitrogen content of hydrocarbons during oil refining. Hydrodensitometry, densitometry in water. Hydrodoxygenate. To subject to hydrodoxygenation. Hydrodoxygenated. Simple past and past participle of hydrodoxygenate. Hydrodoxygenates. Third person singular simple present indicative of hydrodoxygenate. Hydrodoxygenating. Present participle and gerund of hydrodoxygenate. Hydrodoxygenation. A chemical engineering process in which hydrotreating is used to reduce the oxygen content of hydrocarbons present as alcohols, aldehydes, etc. during oil refining. Hydrodoxygenations. Plural of hydrodoxygenation. Hydroderivative. A derivative compound obtained by reaction with hydrogen. Hydroderivatives. Plural of hydroderivative. Hydrosulfurization. Alternative form of hydrosulfurization. Hydrosulfurization. A process for lowering the sulfur content of petroleum and similar products by catalytic hydrogenation, sulfur compounds being converted to hydrogen sulfide. Hydrosulfurizations. Plural of hydrosulfurization. Hydrosulfurize. To treat by hydrosulfurization. Hydrosulfurized. Simple past and past participle of hydrosulfurize. Hydrosulfurizes. Third person singular simple present indicative of hydrosulfurize. Hydrosulfurizing. Present participle and gerund of hydrosulfurize. Hydrosulfurization. Alternative form of hydrosulfurization. Hydrosulfurization. Alternative form of hydrosulfurization. Hydrodewaxing. A chemical engineering process in which hydrotreating is used to reduce the wax content of hydrocarbons during oil refining. Hydrodictyon. Any green alga of the genus Hydrodictyon, the water net. Hydrodictyons. Plural of hydrodictyon. Hydrodiffuse. To subject to hydrodiffusion. Hydrodiffused. Simple past and past participle of hydrodiffuse. Hydrodiffusion. A form of steam distillation typically used to prepare essential oils. Hydrodiffusions. Plural of hydrodiffusion. Hydrodilatation. The injection of a solution into a joint in order to stretch its capsule. Hydrodilatations. Plural of hydrodilatation. Hydrodilation. Misspelling of hydrodilatation. Hydrodimer. A dimer formed by means of hydrodimerization. Hydrodimerization. Dimerization with concomitant addition of hydrogen. Hydrodimerizations. Plural of hydrodimerization. Hydrodimers. Plural of hydrodimer. Hydrodissect. To perform hydrodissection. Hydrodissected. Simple past and past participle of hydrodissect. Hydrodissection. The injection of small amounts of fluid to release a trapped nerve. Hydrodissections. Plural of hydrodissection. Hydrodistension. Alternative form of hydrodistension. Hydrodistensions. Plural of hydrodistension. Hydrodistension. The distension of the bladder with a saline solution as part of a test for interstitial cystitis. Hydrodistensions. Plural of hydrodistension. Hydrodistillate. The product of hydrodistillation. Hydrodistillates. Plural of hydrodistillate. Hydrodistillation. A variant of steam distillation in which material is soaked for some time in water, after which the mixture is heated and volatile materials are carried away in the steam, condensed and separated. Hydrodistillations. Plural of hydrodistillation. Hydrodistilled. Obtained by hydrodistillation. Hydrolyzatron. A drug chemical with the formal name 10-hydroxy 8-azatrocyclo 5.3.1.038 undecan 5-il-1-H-indole 3-carboxylate. Hydrodresserite, a triclinic pinaquidyl mineral containing aluminum, barium, carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. Hydrodrome, synonym of hydrofoil boat using hydrofoils. Hydrodromes, plural of hydrodrome. Hydrodynamic, of or relating to the science of hydrodynamics. Hydrodynamical, hydrodynamic, hydrodynamically, using hydrodynamics. Hydrodynamically, misspelling of hydrodynamically. Hydrodynamicist, one who studies hydrodynamics. Hydrodynamicists, plural of hydrodynamicists. Hydrodynamics, the scientific study of fluids in motion. Hydrodynamism, the stress put on a marine organism, especially in intertidal 1 by hydrodynamic factors. Hydrodynamization, conversion to hydrodynamic form. Hydrodynamizations, plural of hydrodynamization. Hygrodynamometer, an instrument to measure the velocity of a liquid current by the force of its impact. Hydrodynamometers, plural of hygrodynamometer. Hydroesia, plural of hydroesium. Hydroesium, a sac attached onto a necticalyx or swimming bell of specific types of oceanic hydrozoa. Hydroecologic, alternative form of hydroecological. Hydroecological, relating to hydroecology. Hydroecology, the study of support systems in wetlands such as the interactions between water and wildlife habitats. Hydroeconomic, relating to hydroeconomics. Hydroeconomics, the economics of water resources. Hydroecorgon, an ecorgon composed of water, typically a river or lake. Hydroecorgons, plural of hydroecorgon. Hydroelastic, undergoing elastic deformation as the result of the flow of a fluid, especially that of water. Hydroelasticity, the quality of being hydroelastic. Hydroelectric, that generates electricity by converting the energy of moving water or of steam escaping under high pressure. Hydroelectric dam, a dam containing hydroelectric generators. Hydroelectric dams, plural of hydroelectric dam. Hydroelectric generator, a low-speed electric generator driven by water turbines. Hydroelectric generators, plural of hydroelectric generator. Hydroelectric power, power made by the force of water pushing agent a turbine to make a special form of kinetic energy. Hydroelectrical, hydroelectric. Hydroelectrically, using hydroelectric power. Hydroelectricity, electricity that is produced from the energy of moving water. Hydroelectrolyte, electrolytes and the water they are dissolved in, especially when out of balance. Hydroelectrolytic, relating to electrolytes and the water they are dissolved in. Hydroelectrolytic, misspelling of hydroelectrolytic. Hydroencephalocele, alternative form of hydroencephalocele. Hydroencephaloceles, plural of hydroencephalocele. Hydroengineering, hydraulic engineering. Hydroentangle, to feed leather fibers through a textile core, part of a manufacturing process that avoids the use of chemicals. Hydroentangled, simple past and past participle of hydroentangle. Hydroentanglement, the process of hydroentangling. Hydroentangles, third person singular simple present indicative of hydroentangle. Hydroentangling. Present participle and gerund of hydroentangle. Hydroenvironment. Any environment rich in water. Hydroenvironmental. Relating to a hydroenvironment, a marine environment. Hydroenvironments. Plural of hydroenvironment. Hydroesterification. Addition of carboxylic acid to an alkene or alkyne in the presence of a catalyst to form an ester. Hydroethanol. Relating to a mixture of water and ethanol. Hydroethidine. Synonym of dihydroethidium. Hydroethidium. Synonym of dihydroethidium. Hydroextraction. The use of a hydroextractor to remove excess water from textiles. Hydroextractor. A machine that uses a rotating drum to remove excess water from textiles. Hydroextractors. Plural of hydroextractor. Hydroextrusion. Hydraulic extrusion. Hydroficted. Infected via hydrofiction. Hydrofiction. Hydrodynamic infection of a gene. Hydrophoresiane. Pertaining to or containing or obtained from hydrogen, ferric, iron, and cyanogen. Hydrophoresiane. Only used in hydrophoresianic acid. Hydrophoresianic acid. Synonym of ferrosianic acid. Hydrofield. A line of electricity transmission towers, usually in groups, cutting across a city. Hydrofields. Plural of hydrofield. Hydrofining. A chemical engineering process in which hydrocarbons are hydrogenated and desulfurized catalytically as part of oil refining. Hydroflap. A movable surface attached to the underside of the fuselage or seaplane hull that is used to manage the seaplane's pitch. Hydroflask. A device for carrying out polymerization under pressure. Hydroflasks. Plural of hydroflask. Hydroflight. A method of tethered flight using an umbilicus to provide power and reaction mass via a hydrojet supplied from a surface pump on a body of water. Hydroflights. Plural of hydroflight. Hydrofluate. A supposed compound of hydrofluoric acid and a base, a fluoride. Hydrofluates. Plural of hydrofluates. Hydroflumethiazide. A diuretic drug. Hydrofluoric. Containing hydrogen and fluorine. Hydrofluoric acid. A solution of hydrogen fluoride, HF, in water. It is a weak but very corrosive acid used in the production of fluorine compounds and in metallurgy. Hydrofluoride. A compound of hydrofluoric acid with an organic base such as an amine. Hydrofluorides. Plural of hydrofluoride. Hydrofluorination. Reaction with hydrofluoric acid. Hydrofluorinations. Plural of hydrofluorination. Hydrofluoralkane. Any of various gaseous alkanes that contain carbon, fluorine, and hydrogen and are used especially as aerosol propellants in meter-dose inhalers. Hydrofluoralkanes. Plural of hydrofluoralkane. Hydrofluorocarbon. A halocane composed entirely of carbon, hydrogen, and fluorine. Hydrofluorocarbons. Plural of hydrofluorocarbon. Hydrofluoroether. Any of a class of ethers, many of them polymeric, having a mixture of alkyl and fluorinated alkyl substituents. Hydrofluoroethers. Plural of hydrofluoroether. Hydrofluorolefin. Any of a class of unsaturated organic compounds which are composed of hydrogen, fluorine, and carbon atoms and are used as refrigerants. Hydrofluorolefins. Plural of hydrofluorolefin. Hydrofluorosilicate. A salt of hydrofluorosilic acid. Hydrofluorosilicates. Plural of hydrofluorosilicate. Hydrofluorosilicic acid. A compound consisting of a double fluoride of hydrogen and silicon, silicofluoric acid. Hydrofluorocarbon. Misspelling of hydrofluorocarbon. Hydrofocus. To concentrate a stream of water into a small area. Hydrofocuses. Third person singular simple present indicative of hydrofocus. Hydrofocusing. Present participle and gerund of hydrofocus. Hydrofoil. A wing attached to the hull of a ship that raises it out of the water when traveling at speed and thus reduces drag. Hydrofoil craft. A high-speed ship that supports its weight by means of wings hydrofoils beneath the surface of the water. Hydrofoil crafts. Plural of hydrofoil craft. Hydrofoiled. Simple past and past participle of hydrofoil. Hydrofoiling. Present participle of hydrofoil. Hydrofoils. Plural of hydrofoil. Hydroformate. An engineering material produced by hydroforming. Hydroformates. Plural of hydroformate. Hydroformed. Made by hydroforming. Hydroformer. The industrial plant in which hydroforming takes place. Hydroformers. Plural of hydroformer. Hydroforming. A cost-effective way of shaping malleable metals into lightweight, stiff pieces by means of high-pressure hydraulic fluid. Hydroformylation. The reaction of an olefin with carbon monoxide and hydrogen to form an aldehyde. Hydroformylations. Plural of hydroformylation. Hydrofracking. Hydraulic fracturing. Hydrofracture. Rock fracture caused by the pressure of freezing water. Hydrofracture. Simple past and past participle of hydrofracture. Hydrofractures. Plural of hydrofracture. Hydrofracturing. Cryofracturing by water ice. Hydrofuge. A hair pile made of very many tiny, closely spaced hairs, forming a hydrophobic surface on the bodies of certain insects. Hydrofurfural. Synonym of hydroxymethylfurfural. Hydrodynamic. Pertaining to, produced by, or consisting of electricity evolved by the action or use of fluids. Hydrogamous. Of or pertaining to hydrogamy. Hydrogamy. Pollination by means of water. Hydrogarnet. Any mineral based on a garnet in which one or more silicate anions are replaced by hydroxyls. Hygrogarnets. Plural of hydrogarnet. Hygrogarum. Garum diluted with water. Hydrogasification. The reaction of hydrogen with coal under high pressure to form methane. Hydrogel. A colloid gel in which water is the continuous phase. They have a number of medical and industrial applications. Hydrogelating. That leads to hydrogelation. Hydrogelation. The formation of a hydrogel. Hydrogelations. Plural of hydrogelation. Hydrogelator. Any substance that forms a hydrogel. Hydrogelators. Plural of hydrogelator. Hydrogels. Plural of hydrogel. Hydrogen. The lightest chemical element symbol H with an atomic number of 1 and atomic weight of 1.00794. Hydrogen acetate. Acetic acid. Hydrogen acid. Any acid that contains at least one atom of hydrogen. Hydrogen acids, plural of hydrogen acid. Hydrogen air. A mixture of hydrogen and air used as fuel to a fuel cell. Hydrogen arseni. The compound arsine H3 is or as H3. Hydrogen balloon. A type of gas balloon filled with hydrogen gas and able to fly higher and further than a hot air balloon. Hydrogen balloons. Plural of hydrogen balloon. Hydrogen bomb. A thermonuclear bomb that derives its destructive power from the fusion of isotopes of hydrogen, deuterium and tritium. Hydrogen bombs. Plural of hydrogen bomb. Hydrogen bond. A weak bond in which a hydrogen atom in one molecule is attracted to an electronegative atom, usually nitrogen or oxygen in the same or different molecule. Hydrogen bonded. Simple past and past participle of hydrogen bond. Hydrogen bonding. Present participle and gerund of hydrogen bond. Hydrogen bonds. Plural of hydrogen bond. Hydrogen bromide. A colorless gas having an irritating smell. It has the molecular formula HBr and dissolves in water to form hydrobromic acid. It has many industrial applications, including the production of barbiturates and synthetic hormones. Hydrogen burning. The nucleosynthesis process in stars of less than 1.2 solar mass in which hydrogen is converted to helium, deuterium, and some lithium. Hydrogen car. Any motor car that uses hydrogen as its principal fuel. Hydrogen carbonate. Synonym of bicarbonate. Hydrogen carbonates. Plural of hydrogen carbonate. Hydrogen cars. Plural of hydrogen car. Hydrogen chlorates. Chloric acid. Hydrogen chloride. An inorganic compound with the formula HCl, which forms hydrochloric acid when dissolved in water. Hydrogen chlorides. Chlorous acid. Hydrogen cyanide. A colorless, very poisonous, volatile liquid, HCN, used in the production of dyes, plastics, and fumigants. It dissolves in water to form hydrocyanic acid and reacts with bases to form cyanides and with some organic compounds to form nitriles. Hydrogen cycle. The transmission of hydrogen from water to carbohydrates, etc., and back to water by living organisms. Hydrogen dioxide. Hydrogen peroxide. Hydrogen disulfide. The sulfur analog of hydrogen peroxide, H2S2. Hydrogen disulfide. Alternative spelling of hydrogen disulfide. Hydrogen economies. Plural of hydrogen economy. Hydrogen economy. A hypothetical future economy in which the primary form of stored energy for mobile applications and load balancing is hydrogen H, and, in particular, hydrogen replaces fossil fuels in automobiles. Hydrogen electrode. An electrode in which hydrogen gas is adsorbed on platinum. Hydrogen electrodes. Plural of hydrogen electrode. Hydrogen embrittlement. The absorption of hydrogen into a metal and subsequent weakening as part of a pickling process. Hydrogen fluoride. A colorless fuming liquid or gas with molecular formula HF. It dissolves in water to form hydrofluoric acid and has many industrial uses, including the production of Teflon and the refining of uranium. It corrodes skin, flesh, and bone, and any skin contact must be avoided. Hydrogen gas. Hydrogen. Hydrogen gas electrode. A hydrogen electrode. Hydrogen gas electrodes. Plural of hydrogen gas electrode. Hydrogen halide. Any binary compound of hydrogen and a halide. Hydrogen halides, plural of hydrogen halide. Hydrogen hydroxide, the systematic alkali name for water. Hydrogen aire, a colorless gas with molecular formula Hi, having a suffocating smell. It forms hydriodic acid when dissolved in water. Hydrogen ion, used other than figuratively or idiomatically. See hydrogen ion H- or H+. Hydrogen ions, plural of hydrogen ion. Hydrogen lamp, a glass apparatus in which hydrogen, generated from zinc and sulfuric acid, is burnt, used primarily as a demonstration invented by Alessandro Volta. Hydrogen lamps, plural of hydrogen lamp. Hydrogen line, a spectral line of atomic hydrogen having a wavelength of about 21 cm, used extensively in radio astronomy. Hydrogen lines, plural of hydrogen line. Hydrogen maser atomic clock, an atomic clock which uses the 1.4 GHz transition in a hydrogen atom to measure time to within 0.45 nanosecond over a span of 12 hours. Hydrogen maser atomic clocks, plural of hydrogen maser atomic clock. Hydrogen monoxide, dihydrogen monoxide water H2O, but not hydrogen peroxide H2O or the hydroxyl radical OH. Hydrogen nitrate, nitric acid. Hydrogen oxide, the simple systematic name for water, H2O. Hydrogen peroxide, a colorless liquid, H2O2, soluble in water, used as a mild antiseptic, bleaching agent especially for bleaching hair, oxidizing agent, and chemical reagent. Hydrogen phosphate, the ion HbO2 or any salt containing this ion. Hydrogen potassium carbonate, potassium bicarbonate. Hydrogen selenide, the hydride of selenium, H2C. It is a toxic, flammable gas having properties similar to those of hydrogen sulfide. Hydrogen sodium arsenate, the compound sodium hydrogen arsenate. Hydrogen spectral series, any of several series of spectral lines of hydrogen that correspond to quantum transitions between the various allowed energy levels of the hydrogen atom. Hydrogen spectrum, all the lines in the emission or absorption spectrum of hydrogen, each one corresponding to an allowed transition between quantum energy levels. Hydrogen station, a service station for hydrogen vehicles. Hydrogen stations, plural of hydrogen station. Hydrogen sulfate, sulfuric acid. Hydrogen sulfide, a toxic gas, H2S, smelling like rotten eggs and used in analytical chemistry and industry. Hydrogen sulfite, sulfurous acid. Hydrogen sulfites, plural of hydrogen sulfite. Hydrogen sulfate, sulfuric acid. Hydrogen sulfide, alternative spelling of hydrogen sulfide. Hydrogen sulfite, sulfurous acid. Hydrogen sulfites, plural of hydrogen sulfites. Hydrogen telluride, the tellurium analog of hydrogen sulfide, H2T. Hydrogen vehicle, any vehicle that uses hydrogen as its principal fuel, normally via the electricity produced by a fuel cell. Hydrogen vehicles, plural of hydrogen vehicle. Hydrogen warhead, a small thermonuclear device in the warhead of a missile. Hydrogen warheads, plural of hydrogen warhead. Hydrogen 0, synonym of muonium. Hydrogen 1, synonym of protium, most common isotope of hydrogen. Hydrogen 2, synonym of deuterium. Hydrogen 3, synonym of tritium isotope of hydrogen. Hydrogen bonded, linked by a hydrogen bond. Hydrogen bonding, the process of forming a hydrogen bond. Hydrogen-like, having a single electron. Hydrogenase, any enzyme that catalyzes the reduction of a substrate by the reversible oxidation of hydrogen. Hydrogenases, plural of hydrogenase. Hydrogenate, to treat something or react something with hydrogen, especially to react an unsaturated fat with hydrogen in the presence of a nickel catalyst to produce a harder saturated fat. Hydrogenated, simple past and past participle of hydrogenate. Hydrogenates, third person singular simple present indicative of hydrogenate. Hydrogenating, present participle and gerund of hydrogenate. Hydrogenation, the chemical reaction of hydrogen with another substance, especially with an unsaturated organic compound and usually under the influence of temperature, pressure, and catalysts. Hydrogenations, plural of hydrogenation. Hydrogenative, that causes or is accompanied by hydrogenation. Hydrogenator, a device that hydrogenates. Hydrogenators, plural of hydrogenator. Hydrogen carbonate, alternative spelling of hydrogen carbonate. Hydrogen carbonates, plural of hydrogen carbonate. Hydrogeneration, generation of hydroelectric power. Hydrogenetic, precipitated directly from seawater. Hydrogenated, hydrogenated, hydrogenized. Hydrogenian, containing hydrogen atoms in place of another element. Hydrogenic, hydrogen-like. Hydrogemide, hydride. Hydrogenides, plural of hydrogeni. Hydrogeniferous, containing or producing hydrogen. Hydrogenization, alternative form of hydrogenization. Hydrogenize, alternative spelling of hydrogenize. Hydrogenized, simple past and past participle of hydrogenize. Hydrogenizes, third person singular simple present indicative of hydrogenize. Hydrogenizing, present participle and gerund of hydrogenize. Hydrogenize, a dry mixture of chemicals that produces hydrogen upon the addition of water. Hydrogenites, plural of hydrogenite. Hydrogenium, hydrogen, especially when formerly considered as a metal. Hydrogenization, alternative form of hydrogenation. Hydrogenize, to hydrogenate. Hydrogenized, simple past and past participle of hydrogenize. Hydrogenizes, third person singular simple present indicative of hydrogenize. Hydrogenizing, present participle and gerund of hydrogenize. Hydrogenless, without hydrogen. Hydrogen-like, alternative spelling of hydrogen-like. Hydrogenlase, any enzyme that catalyzes the removal of hydrogen from a compound, but especially one that converts formic acid into carbon dioxide and molecular hydrogen. Hydrogenlases, plural of hydrogenlase. Hydrogenolyses, plural of hydrogenolysis. Hydrogenolysis, the cleavage of a molecule, especially that of a carbon-carbon bond, with the addition of hydrogen atoms to the fragments. Hydrogenolytic, relating to or formed by hydrogenolysis. Hydrogenolytically, by means of hydrogenolysis. Hydrogenosome, relating to a hydrogenosome. Hydrogenosome, a membrane-bound form of organelles that produce molecular hydrogen and ATP in some aerobic ciliates, trichomonads, and fungi, remarkable in that most forms contain no DNA. Hydrogenosomes, plural of hydrogenosome. Hydrogenotroph, any hydrogenotrophic organism. Hydrogenotrophic, that converts hydrogen to other compounds as part of its metabolism. Hydrogenotrophically, by means of hydrogenotrophy. Hydrogenotrophs, plural of hydrogenotroph. Hydrogenotrophy, the property of being heterotrophic. Hydrogenous, of, related to, or containing hydrogen. Hydrogenously, in the presence of hydrogen. Hydrogenoxylate, the univalent group He2O4, or any salt containing it. Hydrogenoxylates, plural of hydrogenoxylate. Hydrogens, plural of hydrogen. Hydrogenselenate, the anion HCO or any salt containing this anion, the selenium analog of hydrogen sulfate. Hydrogenselenates, plural of hydrogenselenate. Hydrogen sulfate, the anion HSO or any salt containing this anion. Hydrogen sulfates, plural of hydrogen sulfate. Hydrogen sulfide, alternative form of hydrogen sulfite. Hydrogen sulfites, plural of hydrogen sulfide. Hydrogen sulfide, alternative form of hydrogen sulfite. Hydrogeochemical, relating to hydrogeochemistry. Hydrogeochemically, in terms of hydrogeochemistry. Hydrogeochemist, one who studies hydrogeochemistry. Hydrogeochemistry, the chemistry of ground and surface waters, particularly the relationship between the chemical characteristics and quality of waters and the areal and regional geology. Hydrogeochemists, plural of hydrogeochemists. Hydrogeographer, a geographer whose specialty is hydrogeography. Hydrogeographers, plural of hydrogeographer. Hydrogeographic, relating to hydrogeography. Hydrogeographical, alternative form of hydrogeographic. Hydrogeography, the geography of rivers, seas, and other bodies of water. Hydrogeologic, of or pertaining to hydrogeology. Hydrogeological, of or pertaining to hydrogeology. Hydrogeologically, by means of or with reference to hydrogeology. Hydrogeologies, plural of hydrogeology. Hydrogeologists, a person involved in hydrogeology. Hydrogeologists, plural of hydrogeologists. Hydrogeology, the geology of groundwater, especially concerning the physical, biological, and chemical properties of its occurrence and movement. Hydrogeomorphic, relating to hydrogeomorphology. Hydrogeomorphologic, relating to hydrogeomorphology. Hydrogeomorphological, relating to hydrogeomorphology. Hydrogeomorphology, the study of landforms created or modified by water. Hydrogeophysical, hydrological and geophysical. Hydrogeophy, any aquatic geophyte. Hydrogeophytes, plural of hydrogeophyte. Hydrogeobertate, a mixture of hydromagnesite and calcite. Hydrogloberite, an orthorhombic snow-white mineral containing calcium, hydrogen, oxygen, sodium, and sulfur. Hydroglider, a kind of boat driven by an air propeller. Hydrogliders, plural of hydroglider. Hydrogenacy, the scientific description of the waters of the earth. Hydrogode, the negative pole or cathode. Hydrograph, a graph of flow past a point in a river versus time. Hydrographer, a scientist whose specialty is hydrography. Hydrographers, plural of hydrographer. Hydrographic, of or pertaining to hydrography. Hydrographical, hydrographic. Hydrographically, by means of or in terms of hydrography. Hydrographies, plural of hydrography. Hydrographist, a hydrographer. Hydrographists, plural of hydrographists. Hydrographs, plural of hydrograph. Hydrography, the scientific measurement and description of the physical features and conditions of navigable waters and the shoreline. Hydrogravitational, describing the interaction of gravity and the movement of fluids such as astronomical plasmas. Hydroglossular, a variety of garnet sometimes used as a gemstone. Hydroguret, any hydride. Hydrogurets, plural of hydroguret. Hydrogymnastic, relating to hydrogymnastics. Hydrogymnastics, therapeutic gymnastics performed in water. Hydrohemia, hydremia. Hydrohalic, composed of hydrogen and a halogen. Hydrohalic acid, any acid formed from a binary compound of hydrogen and a halogen. Hydrohalic acids, plural of hydrohalic acid. Hydrohalide, any compound or complex formed by reaction with a hydrogen halide. Hydrohalides, plural of hydrohalide. Hydrohalide, a monoclinic prismatic mineral containing chlorine, hydrogen, oxygen, and sodium. Hydrohalogenation, the electrophilic addition of hydrohalic acids to alkenes to yield the corresponding haloalkanes. Hydrohalogenations, plural of hydrohalogenation. Hydrohalophyte, a halophyte that lives in salty water. Hydrohalophytes, plural of hydrohalophyte. Hydrohosminite, a mixture of hosminite and fatgichtite. Hydrohematite, synonym of lepidocrasite. Hydrohematites, plural of hydrohematite. Hydrohemia, alternative form of hydremia. Hydrohemicryptophy, any aquatic hemicryptophy. Hydrohemicryptophytes, plural of hydrohemicryptophy. Hydroheterolite, a tetragonal ditrigonal dipyramidal mineral containing hydrogen, manganese, oxygen, and zinc. Hydroheterofluorine, any heterofluorine in which one or more carbon atoms are replaced by a heteroatom attached to a hydrogen atom. Hydroheterofluorines, plural of hydroheterofluorine. Hydrohomy, a person who drinks water. Hydrohomies, plural of hydrohomy. Hydrohonicide, a hexagonal mineral containing hydrogen, iron, nickel, oxygen, and sulfur. Hydrohydrosulfurization, alternative spelling of hydrohydrosulfurization. Hydrohydrosulfurization, the hydrosulfurization of gases such as town gas that contain hydrogen. Hydrohydroxic acid, one of several systematic acid names for water, H2O. Hydroi, any of many colonial sealant arrays that exist mainly as a polyp, a hydrozoan. Hydroidean, hydrozoan, hydroi. Hydroideans, plural of hydroidian. Hydroidolanin. Any cnidarian of the subclass Hydroidolina. Hydroidolinins. Plural of hydroidolinin. Hydroids. Plural of hydroi. Hydroimidazolone. A partially hydrogenated form of imidazolone, any derivative of this compound. Hydroimidazolones. Plural of hydroimidazolone. Hydroinformatic. Relating to hydroinformatics. Hydroinformatics. The branch of informatics dealing with water management. Hydroiodic. Composed of hydrogen and iodine. Hydroiodic acid. The acid formed when hydrogen iodide is dissolved in water. Hydroiodic acids. Plural of hydroiodic acid. Hydroiodthi. A compound of hydroiodic acid with an organic base. Hydroiodides. Plural of hydroiodi. Hydroionic. Relating to ions in water, especially to their transport. Hydroisomerization. The isomerization of alkane hydrocarbons via an intermediate alkene, used especially in oil refining. Hydroisomerizations. Plural of hydroisomerization. Hydroisomerize. To isomerize alkane hydrocarbons via an intermediate alkene, used especially in oil refining. Hydroisomerize. Simple past and past participle of hydroisomerize. Hydroisomerizes. Third person singular simple present indicative of hydroisomerize. Hydroisomerizing. Present participle and gerund of hydroisomerize. Hydroisostatic. Relating to hydroisostasy. Hydrojet. Synonym of pump jet. Hydrojets. Plural of hydrojet. Hydrojeta. Simple past and past participle of hydrojet. Hydrojeting. Present participle and gerund of hydrojet. Hydrokinesis. The psychic ability to manipulate or control water. Hydrokinetic. Of or pertaining to hydrokinetics. Hydrokinetical. Synonym of hydrokinetic. Hydrokinetically. In terms of or by means of hydrokinetics. Hydrokinetics. The branch of physics concerned with the movement of fluids. Hydrocryptocetylene. The acetylene derivative of krypton HKOC identical to CH. Hydrol. Abbreviation of hydrology. Hydrolaccolith. A frost mound that has a core of ice and resembles a laccolith in cross-section. Hydrolaccoliths. Plural of hydrolaccolith. Hydrolaparoscopies. Plural of hydrolaparoscopy. Hydrolaparoscopy. Laparoscopy in which a saline solution allows distend hydrolase. An enzyme that catalyzes the hydrolysis of a substrate. Hydrolases. Plural of hydrolase. Hydrolat. An aromatic hydrosol, especially one made by steam distillation of a plant extract. Hydrolatris. Water worshipping. Hydrolatry. The worship of water, belief in the spiritual powers of certain waters. Hydrolats. Plural of hydrolats. Hydrothallus. A rare genetic disorder resulting in birth defects and often stillbirth, associated with HILS-1 protein mutations. Hydroeucyte. The vacuoles associated with cell sap. Hydroeucytes. Plural of hydroeucytes. Hydraulic. Misspelling of hydraulic. Hydraulic cycle. the cycle of water from the oceans to the atmosphere to land and back into the oceans or atmosphere. Hydraulic cycles, plural of hydraulic cycle. Hydrolipid, an emulsion of fat and water, a film of which normally covers the skin. Hydrolipidic, of or pertaining to hydrolipids. Hydrolipophobic, both hydrophobic and lipophobic. Hydrolipophobicity, the condition of being hydrolipophobic. Hydroliquefaction, conversion of biomass into liquid fuels. Hydrolith, calcium hydride when used as a source of hydrogen. Hydrolyze, misspelling of hydrolyze. Hydroe, any streetcar or tram vehicle using onboard hydrogen as a source of energy to power the motors. Hydroes, plural of hydroe. Hydrolock, abbreviation of hydrostatic lock, a condition affecting a compression device that compresses gases, having been infiltrated by an unsustainable amount of incompressible liquid, or being unable to further compress gases, locking the device in place. Hydrolocked, having the hydrolock condition. Hydrolocking, present participle and gerund of hydrolock. Hydrolocks, plural of hydrolock. Hydrologic, of or pertaining to hydrology. Hydrological, of or pertaining to hydrology. Hydrologically, with regard to hydrology. Hydrologies, plural of hydrology.